Whoop. Whoops. Nobody saw that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here we are with our little spaceman suit here. Now this is a controller only game, and the reason for that is we have to use both of our sticks to move our hands around. So right now I'm using my right stick to move my right hand and my left stick to move my left hand. And I need to move these around and work together with them to grab onto stuff using the triggers and float around in this spaceship. Now basically everything in this game is physically simulated, so there's all some sort of interaction, and it gets really precarious in some spots. Now right now I'm playing on classic difficulty, which means we have a little bit of assistance moving around. If we like swim with our arms out in the air, we can kind of move forward a little bit. But there is 2 other difficulties, one being Newtonian, which is the hardest difficulty, where there's no assist at all, and you're just kind of left to your own devices to float around the spaceship and make sure you're close to the walls, or else you will get stuck in the middle of nowheres. And then assisted, which I'm sure is the same as classic, just a little bit more force going around. Now it looks like we're having a little bit of power issues on our ship right now. Let's just pull this sheet of paper out here. And it looks like we got a manual page. So yep, looks like we have to configure our solar panels to be correct, and then also do some stuff to get our power routed the correct way and actually plugged in. So let's float on down our space station here. As you can see, it gets quite interesting trying to move around our spaceship. And we can tuck our legs up and try to push off of some things. And we can rotate our camera as we go around to try to make it easier, but it is a little bit of a brain teaser when you're floating around in all directions trying to remember where you are. And there's our physics simulations of just throwing stuff around. Looks like we got a little camera here. I don't know if this is going to be of any use to us. Look at us, there we are, floating around in the spaceship. All right, we'll just chuck that away. I don't think there's anything too useful down here. Let's just open this door up. Oop. Oop. I think that's where our power comes into play here. So I think, if I remember looking at the map correctly, here's our first little puzzle room. So let's just look back at our manual, and looks like our order is pulling this lever, pushing in these spine things, and plugging in the plug. And now we got power over to our switch here. So let's float past some of this stuff and yank on that. Make sure not to pull that again. We don't want to lock ourselves out. And we'll just close that behind us. I don't think it'll matter too much right now. And on to our next little segment of our space station. Now here is our diagram of the solar panel arrays out there. Now you can see the one is red right there, which means it's not facing the right direction. So we're not getting optimal power, or probably no power at all, which is very bad on a space station because that's pretty much all we rely on for our energy, and that powers life support. And I think we kind of want life support going on here. Seems like we got a bunch of Lay's potato chips in this box and a crowbar. I don't know how useful this crowbar will be to us. We'll just chuck that down there just in case we need it. See, we got a wrench and some duct tape. Sure, we'll need that wrench for something. So let's also chuck that down the hallway. All right, now let's see here. So maybe we can pull this lever. Whoop. Whoops. We saw that. All right, so that's what our wrench is used for. Now I wonder if that crowbar is something that we can shove in this door here and pry it open instead of doing the right way with the wrench there. So let's go grab both of those things, because I'm sure we'll need one just in case the other doesn't work. Oh yeah, actually here's a clipboard that shows us exactly what we're thinking of doing. So I guess we'll just leave the spanner behind then, because we have a brute force way of doing it instead of the cool, calm, and collected way. Almost getting it. She's pried in there. Hey, there we go. All right. Now let's see if we pull this one, if it'll break as well, and we'll be stuck in here. Now what's cool about this game is I think I saw somewhere that if we open up these doors while keeping our main doors closed, it'll depressurize the space station and suck us out into space. That's not something we want. And I think this tether is something we want to keep. That'll keep us from floating away. Now, it's not too important with classic controls because we do get a little bit of assistance floating around. But definitely if you're on Newtonian or still trying to learn the game, you want to keep this thing tethered to you. And if we're tugging that in, we're definitely going to hook ourselves in here just to be a little safe. I'm not sure how easy it'll be for us to float back. And here we are getting sucked out, but we got our tether, so that's all right. Now that we're tethered in and got sucked out, we didn't have to crawl around here, which made it a little bit easier, but I'm not too worried about it. Now, I'm sure that's fine. Nobody saw that. Just gonna float on past that like nothing happened. Now here's our solar array that is broken, and I went a little too far. So I believe we just have to crank this thing here and extend out our solar array. Now it's actually doing stuff instead of being folded up and not collecting as much sunlight as it should be. And now that we've done that, we just have to report back to mission control because our spaceship is all powered up here, or our space station. And we're gonna pretend we didn't break that light there and just not tell that one to mission control. And a little bit of a long flight back to mission control, but that's all right. It brought a flight snack of this potato chip here. Figured that'd be nice for us. So let's just grab onto the walkie here, report back to mission control, and 10 minutes, not too bad for our first run at this game here. Couple tips. Now it looks like we have a couple different levels here, so let's get onto data here, see what we have to do in our next mission. So it looks like we have a few satellite dishes and antennas that aren't folded out and aren't facing the correct direction. So let's get our report from mission control and see what we have to get done here. So looking at our handy dandy manual here, it looks like we have some cable types that we'll have to deal with, and 4 antennas and satellite dishes that we have to angle in the correct direction and then also extend those antennas. Now here's our full diagram here. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a complicated run. And we have some sort of sliding rail maybe there. And our whole thing is in disarray with it being all over the place. All right, let's just tug on these cables. This looks like our data and cable and powered cables that they were talking about in the manual. So let's get that plugged in. I think we have to angle this in some direction. Let's see, how do we tell if we're facing the right direction? Oh. Looks like our screen updated there when we got in the right range, and there's a little blue bar that's telling us what progress we have. All right, first antenna down. I believe there's one more antenna or one more dish, and then another, 2 more antennas. Looks like we have our power routed along like these cables that's floating along with us. We also have a data cable that's dangling off this little receiver here. And actually, we just passed one of the antennas. I wonder if we could just pull that out right now while we're over here. I don't know if we're supposed to be out here yet, but we'll try it. Let's see. Looks like, yeah, we'll just pull that out there. Push it straight through the wall. Seems fine to me. And actually, I think we have to fully extend that. It fixed itself a little bit, but maybe that'll save us some time later on. Now that we're right next to it. Why not do it when we can just see right into it? Now just the struggle of getting back indoors. And we did actually have to come out here because part of extending this tower back out is unclipping these latches. So I think that's a good thing that we did that. And I got this satellite dish or some sort of receiver dish or transmitter dish plugged in here and ready to go. So we just need to find the right position for it. Now it's actually making some sort of hum when we get a little close to there and updating on the screen, which is handy. Now let's see, these are our controls for putting this tower back together. And that took quite some time, but that's cool. We are messing with some big machinery here, and we don't want to move too fast and have something break. And I did forget to unplug our data cable. So let's yank that out of there. Not good for the cable, but we're not too worried about it. And slide our receiver down up the rail here, which was extended when we put the new segment on. And here we have come to the antenna that we already extended out. Now it looks like we can't get power to it yet without moving on to the next segment here, which is all right with me because I did get it unlatched just a little bit farther down below us. And after looking at this for just another second longer, I did realize that we have to reach this plug across. Ooh, almost got it. It's like throwing darts. And there we go. Now that one's actually already going because it's just an antenna and it's in a fixed position. Now we got one more. I believe the last one is actually a big dish. So we have 3 dishes and 1 antenna. This part is pretty neat as well. We have a little piece that we unlatch, and instead of unfolding with the other ones, we have to push it up and fully extend it out. Now, we do have to bring our terminal up with us, or else we have to go back for it. And backtracking is never good. It's just a waste of time. That was perfect. As I was bringing up our terminal, it actually connected it exactly how we wanted it. Now we do have a tether here, but we're going to lift a little bit dangerously and just not use it. This is quite the large dish. It does actually look like we have an antenna on our dish that we have to extend out, as well as positioning it correctly. So let's creep around the edge here and get that extended out. I'm beginning to regret not bringing a tether out with me because there is some tether points here. Did almost slip off a couple times coming up here. All right, our antenna is positioned, and now we just have to tilt this in the correct direction to get our signal. Oh, looks like we've got it. Oh, so close there. And we're just like a fraction of a millimeter off from it. And that is perfect. Now we have all of our data back to our space station here. Look at that beautiful monstrosity sticking out of that bad boy. Now, I believe we just have to bring this back and report to mission control, and another successful mission completed. And on our journey, we can get some nice tunes going, like YMCA. And that was terrible. That brought us to the end, so that's wonderful. Just back over to mission control and see what they got going on for us. And grab onto our walkie-talkie, report back, and I believe that is the data portion complete, and another one in 10 minutes. So I think we're making pretty good time with 10 minutes each mission. Now, I believe that's going to be good for this episode. If you like this kind of content and you want to see me keep going on our space journey here and repairing our space stations, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my Twitter as I post there whenever I'm posting a new video or updates on the channel. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.